Alright, we're going to start here, and this is where I have most of my retro consoles connected here, and use them all the time, and they're connected to the Sanyo CRT through a switch box. I have the Sega Saturn there, and of course the Pseudo Saturn cartridge plugged in so I can play imports and backups. And then one of my most prized possessions in my game room is my original Sega Genesis. That's the one that I had back in the day, and now I've got the Sega 32X and the Sega CD connected to it as well. Collected those over the years and really enjoy it. And then below that we've got the GameCube. We've got the Jungle Green N64. That was the original one I bought from back in the day when they came out with the fantastic colors. I did have another one and I traded it off, and then I got my Jungle Green when it came out. And had to have it back, man. Too many good N64 games, and man, I love the wrestling games on the N64, and it was a great console back in the day. Loved playing my N64. And then my Super NES, it's in excellent condition as well, and that actually came from a buddy of mine, and he did a case mod on it before he traded it off to me, where it will play import games. So Super Famicom games play on my Super NES with no problem, and I've got 3 or 4 of those that I play. So really happy with it too. And then I'm using the wireless controller on it from 8BitDo as well, and it works great too. Then below that you will see the Dreamcast and my PlayStation 1, and the PlayStation 1 is one of the original launch model PlayStation 1s, you know, with the audio video jacks in the back, where you can just plug those the RCA cables right into it and plug it right into the TV, and that's what I'm using. And that has a lot of nostalgia to me because that was the system that I had back in the day. I got one when the PS1 came out shortly after launch. And of course my NES, play it all the time as well, and it does have the Blinking Light Win mod on it, where you just kind of slide the cartridge in, and almost like it turns it into a top loader. And some people don't like that. I understand that, the nostalgia of pushing the cartridge in and then pushing it down and snapping it into place. Yeah, some people have to have that, of course. But yeah, there's the bulk of my retro consoles anyway. And then over here, that's my Dreamcast collection there. Record of the Lotus War is the last game I picked up for it. But yeah, I need to get some more Dreamcast games, of course. Alright, now moving on to this. Of course I got the NES Classic and the Super NES Classic as well. And then some of my Atari Jaguar collection, and I have the boxes in a cabinet, and I have some more cartridges over there as well. This is just an easy place for me to store these particular Atari Jaguar cartridges, and I can grab them and go into the other room and play them easily. I absolutely love the Atari Jaguar. And then I did get those in labels. Those are aftermarket, and put those on. And then my PS1 long box collection. And some notables there, of course, Resident Evil, Doom. And then down below that, I do have the 2 games that I got back in the day when I got my PS1, Battle Arena Toshinden and Ridge Racer. And yeah, I love collecting long boxes. I don't have a whole lot of them, but you know, I've got most of the ones that I had back in the day. Wing Commander 3, yeah, man, I played the heck out of that. And that's not easy to play on the PS1. And then below that, I've got my Evercade collection. I don't have a whole lot of Evercade games, probably about 12 to 15. But yeah, I do enjoy the Evercade. It's a great way to play old arcade games, of course. So yeah, I absolutely love the Evercade. And then the Dreamcast games are below that, and you know, Crazy Taxi, Sonic Adventure, Shenmue, and you know, that was one of the games that I played back in the day. I got the Dreamcast on launch. Alright, my NES collection with Brett the Hitman Hart, checking everything out. Yeah, man, I really wanted to collect all the NES games that I had back in the day, and I've done that so far, and now I'm finding games that, you know, were out of reach back then, or I just didn't play them, didn't know about them, and that's so much fun. That's one of the reasons I really love retro gaming, is discovering some of those new games that I missed out on back in the day, those old games, I should say, that I missed out on. And it becomes new to you, you know? And yeah, there's something magical and charming about the NES. Just, I love the NES. I've got this drawer here, and it's just got, you know, one of my light guns is in there, and some manuals and some other things like that. Kind of the Nintendo wall. Alright, and then in this cabinet, I've got some of my NES Complete in Box games. In fact, that's all of the NES Complete in Box games I have. I do have the manual for Super Mario Bros. 3. That's an aftermarket box, but it's a pretty cool case. And then I was able to trade for a really minty Super C. I traded with my buddy Jason over at the Kinda Cool channel. We swapped Super Cs, and it's my favorite Contra game, and I just wanted to have it. It was the first one I beat, and I beat it back in the day without the code, and that was a big deal for me, so I wanted to have that game in pristine condition. Yeah, and then of course Tecmo Bowl, Shadowgate, Deja Vu, Air Fortress I just kind of discovered later in life, and man, I love that game. It's a great game. Abadox, and yeah, Tecmo World Wrestling. Then below that are some of my Complete in Box Sega Genesis games. I was able to get Grindstormer, and just added it. It's behind Mega Turk in there. And one of the coolest games that I have just purchased not too long ago was The Punisher. And I got the you know, the authentic cartridge, but I had to get a aftermarket box for it. I couldn't just have the cartridge hanging out. So that's an aftermarket box, and man, it's a really good beat 'em up. Might have played it in the arcade. It's great in the arcade, but it's a really good translation to the Sega Genesis as well. And then of course Castlevania Bloodlines. Really glad I own that, and that is an aftermarket box as well. But I own the original cartridge. It's in there, and it's a great game. Yeah, Shinobi 3. Elemental Masters and Wings of War, really great games. And then below that I have some of my Sega CD games, and these are not all of my Sega CD games, but they're the best. They're kind of the ones that are in the best shape, and that's why they're in this cabinet, and ones that I really like. Of course, Robo Aleste is a great game. Kind of a spiritual sequel to Musha. Maybe it's the sequel, I don't know, but I heard that it's, you know, kind of a spiritual sequel to Musha. And then Silpede. You got to have Silpede to kind of have that Sega CD experience, right? But some of the notable ones that I don't have down there that are on the other shelf, Final Fight, Sega CD, and Wolf Child, and yeah, Flashback on the Sega CD is excellent. That's a great way to play Flashback, is on the Sega CD. And of course, Mortal Kombat, you don't have to put the blood code in on the Sega CD, you just play it and it's already in. I haven't been collecting for the Sega CD for very long, and I really did miss out on it back in the day. I had it. I had the old Model 1 fit under the Sega Genesis, but I just didn't find a lot of games that I really connected with, so unfortunately I got rid of it a little too soon. But anyway, this cabinet works good for, storing some of these complete in box games and keeping them safe. So there you go. And the bulk of my retro games is right here. And I've got my Sega Genesis games here, Super NES. And then I set this little station up to play the Neo Geo Mini. And I know the screen doesn't look real great when recording it, but it looks fantastic in person, and I think that that's the way to play the Neo Geo Mini, is on a smaller LCD screen. When you hook it up to your big HD TV, the graphics aren't, they're kind of muddy, and it's just not very good. It's not a great experience. I'd go with the Arcade Stick Pro if you can on that. And of course, there it is, and there's some of my system boxes. And there's a few behind there too. I've got a couple of PlayStation systems complete in box, and then the Neo Geo CD is one of my favorite consoles. And my buddy Jason over at Kinda Cool traded that to me as well. And we had a big trade, and man, I love that. Evercade, that's my original PS2. PlayStation complete in box. That's my original Dreamcast box. So I now have the Sega Dreamcast complete in box. I found it when cleaning out the basement. Partially getting ready to put my game room down here, so it was pretty cool. And yeah, the Neo Geo Arcade Stick Pro, my Xbox 360 system. Then my Sega Genesis complete in box collection, and I do have some loose carts up here as well. And but man, I'm a Sega Genesis guy through and through. I've played it for years, and it's just one of my favorite consoles, of course. And you know what I really love is some of those launch games, launch titles, and early titles. Of course, there's some fantastic later games as well. But man, just having them complete in box is very nostalgic to me, and I really love my Sega Genesis collection. Then I've got some loose carts up here. My Shining Force and Shining Force 2. The Shining Force 2 is out of the box up there, so I don't have to open the box to play it. Ghostbusters is a recent acquisition. I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Rocket Knight Adventures, of course. Comic Zone and Ranger X are two recent games for me, and I've just kind of gotten into them, and man, they're good. Comic Zone is tough, but it's a good game. Great graphics. And some more Sega Genesis, some of, kind of the later box styles down on this row. Maximum Carnage I really like. Double Dragon and Battletoads is a great game. Love that game. Sonic 3 is outstanding, of course. Subterranea is one of my favorite games. It was really cool. I found that Subterranea as a pack-in my Sega Genesis Model 2 box that I got, I think it was maybe 2 years ago. And I'd never seen that before, where they had packed in Subterranea and Sonic 3, so that was a pretty cool find. And some of my other Sega CD games, and the stuff that packed in with the original Sega CD, you know, all the discs that came with it. So that's pretty cool to have those as well. And I have some more Sega 32X games loose and in the other room as well, just kind of displayed. But I love the Sega 32X. Virtual Racing is great. Afterburner's awesome. They've got a lot of good games. Well, you know, for a small library anyway. And some loose carts. Kind of running out of room over here, but I'm really trying not to collect anymore. I think I've kind of got what I want, and I just want to kick back and try to work on that backlog a little bit. So there you go, there's a Sega Genesis collection there. And below that I got my SNES collection. It's not very large, but I got the games that I want. You know, Legend of Zelda, Super Mario World, Contra 3, Killer Instinct, Donkey Kong Country. You know, there's just some fantastic games. Blackthorn on the SNES is awesome. I've got it, and I've got the box on display above my TVs. And yep, I just left my remote sitting there, didn't I? But yeah, I love the Super NES. It's just, you know, I didn't have it very long back in the day, but I did love what when I did have it. And it's a cool system to discover new games for too. It can be a little expensive to collect for, unfortunately. And then my N64 games, I just don't have a really good way of storing these N64 games yet. But I got, you know, all the wrestling games, and I imported a few, even actually Virtual Pro Wrestling, and it's actually just awesome. That's a great game to import if you can. And then the yellow Donkey Kong 64 cartridge there that came with my Jungle Green system. My Atari 2600 cartridges, I'm in the same boat. I need to find a better way to display them. And then PS4, Xbox One, that's as far as I go in the generations of consoles. I'm off the new consoles and new games train. Nintendo Switch, I will not be getting the Switch 2. And the Nintendo Wii and the Wii U. And then my PlayStation games here, and I'm going to try to get you a little better view of those. There we go. Castlevania Symphony of the Night is my absolute favorite Castlevania. It just nudges out Bloodlines, and I've got, you know, all the Final Fantasies, and got some new RPGs that I need to delve into that are on the backlog as well. What a great system though. Such a huge library and so many good games to explore. Pretty sure there was a spider back there too. Alright, so my retro PC. Man, I have a blast on this thing. And it's running Windows XP, and I've really found that Windows XP runs DOSBox excellently. So with Windows XP and DOSBox, you have a really sweet kind of length of of games that you can play. You know, you can play the older DOS games and some of the more recent games as far as for the Windows XP, Oblivion, and, you know, Castle Wolfenstein, and all those really cool games. And it really gives you a really lengthy time span of games that you can explore on the PC. And you know, I had to get all the ones that I owned before, you know, Witch Haven, all the, you know, Doom 1 and 2, and all those games that I used to play, all those DOS games, and I'm able to play those here. I'm really happy with this setup. And of course my Golden Axe poster is right above my retro PC, and that Golden Axe poster is the one that came out of my original Sega Genesis box, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I've got some modern lights, but I don't know, I find it very cool to play in this little corner of the room. Another shot of my Golden Axe poster. And a few of my favorite retro PC games. Witch Haven, I've recollected it. I love that game. Diablo 2, the Neverwinter Night series, some of the Star Wars games, and my Oblivion and Mob Rule. Just some really cool games. And then I have my PS2 collection here. And it's not a big collection, but I'm working on it. And the Punisher, that's probably one of my favorites. Now my Atari Jaguar collection. I love the Jaguar. Here's my box. I don't have the carton that came inside of it that held the system, but really love having the box. And then my newest acquisition is the Jaguar game drive. I just got that from Jason over at the Kinda Cool channel. Another trade we made. And then my complete in box Jaguar collection. I don't have them all. I think I'm over half of the official release library as far as games that I own. iWars is a recent pickup for me. Atari Carts was my big one. Super Burnout, love it. Tempest 2000, of course. And then I've got just some more carts here, and these are the ones I've been playing recently, and I just grab them and throw them in the Jag and go. Skyhammer's really good. Flashback's pretty good too. Ultra Vortec is one of my favorite games. I got that from a buddy, Ryan, in the trade group that I belong to as well. A lot of these games I got from Ryan in a big trade. So yeah, I'm a Jaguar guy. I had it back in the day and I still love it today. It's so nostalgic to me and I love collecting for it. And you will be seeing more Jaguar videos coming in the future here. And below that I've got my Neo Geo Arcade Stick Pro and my Japanese imported Sega Saturn. Love that Saturn. I love the Sega Saturn. And so there you go, there's my Atari Jaguar collection. Alright, let's go into the Jag room. Yeah, the Jag room. Finally got this room cleaned out recently, and this is my most recent acquisition, is this Iron Soldier poster. It's absolutely beautiful. And I got it from the UK, and through eBay, and it was $27 landed, man. Can't beat that. And then my Sony Trinitron curved screen TV is probably my favorite CRT, and then of course the Jag there. It's really cool just to come in here and kind of get away from everything and just play the Atari Jaguar. And you got Rayman running in the background here. Yeah, this it's kind of just a throwback room, man. Got my Nintendo Power collection. Got my little Sony Trinitron set over there. My Super Mario Brothers 3 poster. And here's some systems that I just have picked up at yard sales or flea markets and cleaned up, and I've just held on to them. And I use them in here to video shorts. You know, if I'm doing a YouTube short with a CRT TV, those are the systems I use. Got the Punisher on the wall, of course. And it kind of helps with choice paralysis. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but if you have so many games and you just want to play a game, sometimes I'll just grab one game, come in here and and chill and play, and even can play my Super Pocket here that plays Evercade games and has some Capcom games built in. But you know, you just grab a game, come in here and play it, and I don't know, just seems to help. And then of course one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Peyton Manning, you know, and playing for the greatest football team of ever. And then his predecessor, John Elway there. And if anybody can name this baseball player, they will win 2,000 bonus points from the Poor Man's Retro Game Room. That's right. Put it in the comments, or you're not getting your points. Alright, one last look here. Alright, my Sony Trinitron here, and it's got Rondo of Blood playing on it, and I'm playing that through the PC Engine Dual that I acquired from a buddy, Jake, in our trade group. And I absolutely love this TV. I accidentally have dropped this TV before, and it broke the back of the case, but yeah, it still works. It still works. And there's my PC Engine Dual, my PlayStation 2, and my Xbox there. Original Xbox. Love my original Xbox. And that PC Engine Dual is great. And one of the cool things about it is it does not have any security, so you can play some backup games on there. And yeah, I just find it paired with this Sony Trinitron, it's a really good setup. In my PS3, Xbox One, PS4, Nintendo Wii U. Connected to the old modern HD TV. Lunar Silver Star Story Complete up there for the PS1, one of my prized possessions, and then a shadow box of Street Fighter 2, my Halo helmet that had the collector's edition of Halo 3, and Castlevania Symphony of the Night shadow box, and then Blackthorn, my Blackthorn box for the Super NES. And my Sanyo on something new here. Well, it's not new, I guess, but it's been about a year. I traded my buddy, and that's the Neo Geo CD that came out of that box, and it's here all by itself. I've got a VCR DVD player underneath that, but the only console, you know, holding this spot right here and connected to that one input is my Neo Geo CD. And I got the Bluetooth dongle there so that I can use the Neo Geo CD controller, the 8-bit DOE. And you know, I had a comment the other day that the Sanyo is underrated, and I believe it. Look at this screen. This TV is amazing. The colors are so vibrant in it, and formatting's great. This is really one of those CRTs that has no issues, and that's hard to find nowadays. Well, that's it. I want to thank you for joining me today, and until next time, we'll catch you later.